everybody, welcome to Movieverse. My name is Brian. I'm joined with Greg and Jason, and finally we are here, our Avengers Age of Ultron spoiler review. The movie has been out for a couple weeks now, so if you haven't seen the movie already, what are you doing? Go see the movie and then come back and watch our spoiler-filled discussion about what happened in Avengers Age of Ultron and what it means for future Marvel movies. So to start it off, Jason, what were some things that you want to talk about that happened in the movie?
Well, we got a good introduction into what Jarvis really is, what Jarvis really does. Tony Stark he wants to create this AI with the help of Dr. Bruce Banner, and he wants Jarvis to be the forefront because Jarvis basically does everything for him.
Yeah.
It's kind of them showing that they don't want to be the Avengers for the rest of their lives.
Right. Well, at least Tony Stark doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, he wants something to, that's the end game. He talks about how, that in space we are not capable of handling, what's going on in space and everything like that too.
And I think it's partially because he's probably still feeling the events from the first Avengers, and he's looking for a way to retire. And, people say that throughout the Iron Man 3 movie, he was kind of going through the same thing with trying to figure out, how he can, at the end of that movie, he's basically, people thought that he was done, and then you go into this movie, and, he's back in the suit, and he's still fighting with the Avengers, and he's helping them with missions, but then, he still has a mindset like, hey, I don't want to do this forever, I don't want to be the one that has to fight the aliens or whatever, so he's trying to come up with a way to get that done. What about you, Greg? Was there anything that you want to talk about the movie?
I mean, we kind of talked about this another day about Marvel's villain problems. I think actually Ultron was a well-designed villain.
Yeah.
Especially in the comic book movie genre.
Yeah.
He felt like a real threat to the Avengers. Very sinister. Definitely has a scheme of his own.
Yeah, he seemed, for me, it wasn't so much sinister as it was childlike, or at least rebellious teenager, is what I got from it.
That does kind of come off across that, but compared to a lot of the other villains we see in comic books, he's much more of a realized villain than most of what we get most of the time.
All right, so now just kind of go through what happened in the movie. You have the Avengers, they raid a castle that's being used by Strucker and Dr. List, and they're basically using Chitauri technology to try to advance their soldiers, and also they said that they were working on something else, but they didn't really talk about it too much. They were just saying hopefully the Avengers don't find it, and the Avengers end up finding the Chitauri ship or whatever that snake or whale or whatever it was, and so Tony uses information that he gets from that to kind of build this arsenal that he's talking about, making suits that are work that are AI, and so that's basically how the Ultron gets made, is from a mixture of Chitauri technology, and then Tony Stark and Bruce Banner kind of work together, and it looks like
with Loki's staff.
Yeah, and messing with Loki's staff, and basically that's how Ultron gets created, using the Mind Gem. And from there, Ultron basically says, hey, the Avengers are the problem. They need to be taken out. And so his plan is to take out the Avengers, create this body of his own that people can kind of look, like he said, look towards the sky and see hope. So he was trying to be that godlike figure to kind of lead humanity to bettering themselves. And so when the Avengers are trying to stop his plan, then he kind of goes off the rails and just says, fine, then humans need to evolve via extinction level event.
Right.
So he basically tries to make this machine that will lift a piece of the earth off and drop it back down, kind of have a meteorite effect to basically make people on Earth go extinct. So some of the things that we see happen in this movie, Ultron tries to create a body that people can look towards, and that ends up leading to
a hybrid between man and machine.
Yeah, which leads to the creation of the Vision. And I know I had a video where I talked about how I thought Vision was going to come to be, and it ended up. I said it was going to be the Soul Stone that they put in his forehead. It turned out that it was the Mind Stone, but I always say that that's not too far off from what I had. So kudos for me. But so the Vision gets created, and he ends up siding with the Avengers. The Avengers see they have.
They're kind of hesitant at first because he remarks on, he kind of idolizes Ultron, but initially his plan is
created
wrong.
by Ultron and actually animated by the same process that created Ultron in the first place. So yes, the rest of them are rather wary of him.
Yeah, and they had a great way of setting that up where they had, that party where everybody's trying to lift Thor's hammer and he's like, you're all not worthy. And then you come back full circle later on in the movie where Vision's like, I don't know how to make you guys trust me, but we need to go. And he hands Thor his hammer.
Yeah.
And then everybody in the theater on screen stopped and was just like, what?
That was probably the loudest audible gasp I've ever heard.
In a movie, right?
Like 300 people on the screen, all of them, they might not even know the comic book lore of it. Yeah. But they all realize Thor is the only one that can wield Meow Meow.
Yeah, Meow Meow, yeah. As Kat Dennings called it. Yeah, but so that was really well set up of how they could get the whole crowd that's in the theater to trust Vision in such a short amount of time. Right. So that was very well done. And so we go through, the whole fight sequences of the Avengers fighting Ultron, and you see really cool things like Thor, hitting Cap's hammer and the sound ricocheting off of it and just blowing a tank up, and then him actually hitting the shield like a baseball. And all kinds of things. Were there any other fight scenes?
I gotta say, the beginning shot where they're going in that forest and they kind of push over that truck kind of falls and they're all on screen.
Yeah.
That, and then towards the end when they're fighting to kind of keep the robots away from hitting that mechanism, that switch to drop the rock. Having all of them, including Vision flying, I think that was even better than the one we got in the trailer. Yeah. Which I thank God they didn't show that in the trailer.
And Vision's phasing powers, where he just puts his hands in it and then he just tears them apart. It was really small in the movie, so if you don't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't really recognize it. I think you just think that he just probably just shoved his hand through, but he's actually
and I was actually, because when he did that to Ultron, when he inevitably gets rid of him from going online so he can't switch anymore, I missed it. I totally missed it. I had to catch it again the second time I watched it. I was like, oh, because I wondered why Ultron didn't switch bodies.
Another thing that I really liked about the Vision was when he's having that discussion with Ultron, and you kind of see that Vision has a type of respect for Ultron.
Right.
But Vision's like, no, but you're wrong in this. This is how you're supposed to
go about Vision it. Does have a sense of
morality.
Sure, not morality, but clear logic, like Ultron does. He understands
he has a clear vision.
But he's got that logic sense that Ultron did. Yeah. So he sees that yes, humans are a problem to themselves. Yeah. But that's what makes them special.
Yeah, and I think what he actually said was that something's not beautiful because it's perfect. It's beautiful because it's imperfect and it doesn't last, forever.
And I got to say, that was a great line about when Ultron says, "You're incredibly naive," and because I was just born yesterday. Yeah, that was funny.
All right, so we're gonna move on to things that we saw in the movie that we think could lead into future Marvel movies, and I'm gonna start off with the the second most obvious thing that happened in the movie, where Tony and Bruce Banner are trying to create Vision, and Captain America and his buddies storm in, and then there's a little fight scene, and that's kind of a precursor to Civil War.
That made me so excited to see them fight out in Civil War. I want to see this fight so bad.
Yeah, because it was a little snippet of it where you see it and you're just all right. So,
like I said, both of them were equal combatants.
Yeah. Because I think they spent so much time with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and this movie. They kind of showed how powerful Captain really is. Yeah. So it really shows that he can stand.
I mean, he was holding his own against Ultron on that truck. He was holding his own. Yeah. He really was.
Yeah. So they basically showed that he can stand against some of the most strongest people. Maybe not Thor and the Hulk, obviously, but as far as Iron Man goes, he could probably stand toe to toe. Well, what was something that you caught in this movie that can lead into further movies?
I mean, this was something to me that it took me a second viewing to actually notice it. But when we see Tony's vision and we see all the Avengers lying dying and dead on like that rock or it's like meteor or whatever it is, I noticed there's a second female character that's laying on there that's not Black Widow.
Yeah.
She has like that Avengers uniform on, but she's got short blonde hair. So like I'm thinking that might be an allusion to Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel, is because supposedly we think that this vision kind of takes place when like Thanos or whoever the next alien race is coming to invade Earth. So it could sense that she has been introduced to the cast at that point. By that point.
I didn't see that, but that's very interesting. I'll have to go back and probably go see it again.
It took me a second viewing to notice it.
Yeah, Jason, what about you? Was there anything that you saw that, like, you said, hey, this is going to lead into this?
Wakanda. Yeah. It really,
and Black Panther's villain.
And Claw. Andy Serkis's Claw.
He got his arm cut off, which every movie in the Phase 2 of Marvel Cinematic Universe has somebody getting a hand or an arm cut off in tribute to The Empire Strikes Back. It's an ode to Star Wars, so I thought that was really interesting. But continue with Wakanda.
Yeah, and we got that. We see why or how Claw will eventually have his. But we there were pictures that were released online that may be in the deleted scenes where we see a possible female that was related to Black Panther in some kind of way,
and also in the trailer with I think the rumor is that cave that Thor that Thor went to, hot tub Thor machine as they call it, is actually in Wakanda, and they just cut out that bit with that woman that you're talking about.
They did say it would be a dangerous journey, so because we know Wakanda is not accepting of strangers.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this one's like I think the most obvious is that end credit scene with Thanos where he picks up the glove and he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." And as people could say that's pretty much copying like what the first Avengers did, where you see Thanos like stand up and like he turns around and smiles, but at the same time you actually see Thanos like getting up, getting the gauntlet, saying, "Fine, I'm doing this myself." Meaning, hopefully in like movies to come, we'll see like end credit scenes or something where he's actually doing stuff like going and getting.
We're seeing that he's now ready to actually take charge of whatever his plan is.
He's done sitting on the sidelines trying to get other people to do his dirty work. He's ready to go. Yeah. So that was really interesting to me. And there was another thing that happened where you kind of have Hulk. He's going off on his own at the end, so it's really weird. Like they don't really say whether he crashed or whether he didn't. They said we think he's here, but with the Stark Tech cloaking device, we can't really tell. So I thought that was really interesting. We're leading into Civil War with this movie. We got to lead into Infinity War with this movie. Possibly Carol Danvers in that one scene that you talked about.
And that's the other thing, kind of going back into leading into Civil War. The one one of the negative things I had about the movie was how Cap seems to be, we saw in Winter Soldier his distrust for the system and like the bureaucracy of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yet now we see him willingly join up for Avengers program is like. So it kind of feels a little disingenuous to the continuity of the cinematic universe.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of the new Avengers headquarters because there is, in the Civil War comic book, there is new Avengers team.
There's a group of Avengers for every state.
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to go for.
Well, yeah, but in the comics, that's what
there's like Avengers, and then there's the new Avengers, and like one side's with Cap and one side's with Iron Man. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think he still has a distrust, but he kind of agrees to do that mainly because he's mostly in charge of this new team. It's not something that he's ordered to go in. He kind of, all right, I am the leader. I will take on this role. Yeah,
and to speak on that new team, there is a new lineup of Avengers at the end of this movie, and Captain America is the leader, and Black Widow looks to be a co-leader. And the new Avengers that join are Scarlet Witch, War Machine, Falcon, and Vision. Mm-hmm. So we got a new lineup.
And actually name them Avengers.
Yeah, and he says Avengers, and then he's about to say Assemble, but then like Joss Whedon cuts him off because apparently Joss Whedon doesn't want Avengers Assemble catchphrase in the movies, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Do you guys have any closing remarks about things that you saw in this movie that you want to talk about?
No, I think... I keep on reading stuff online that says people are really upset that this movie doesn't lead into Civil War more. Yeah. That it's not kind of like a stepping stone.
They said that they got out in front of that and said that Ant-Man is the one that leads into Civil
right.
War.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that
Infinity War.
It somewhat does, because we see at the end where Cap and Tony Stark are talking to one another. They have that mutual respect for one another, and that makes us feel like, well, then how in the world do these two end up being at
even
at
the
odds?
comic storyline? They still have respect for each other. They just view the same issue in two different ways.
Yeah, and for somebody who didn't read the comics, that's just going to see a movie, they kind of go in thinking like, well, they're buddy. How in the world are they going to end up fighting one another? And I think, yes, it's not, it's still planting seeds for Civil War, but I think Ant-Man will eventually be the one that sets up Civil War even more.
Yeah, Greg, anything else you want to say?
I mean, the only other thing, like, it's kind of minor, but like it felt like that movie didn't have the kind of polish that most of the other Marvel movies did. Like, that opening cinematic or the opening scene in the woods, like, you could tell the CGI moments.
Yeah.
Like the street chase in Korea, like, I could actually tell when it was Scarlett Johansson and when it was her stunt double. Like,
really?
Granted, like, part of it because they had to use a stunt double more often because she was pregnant. Like, but like, it just, and then also like with like, to me, what felt like that continuity error with Captain America at the end, like, it just kind of felt like it didn't have that polish that the rest of the Marvel movies had. Yeah,
I had to add on to that. I feel like Avengers was kind of a step down from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy, because both of those movies were so good, and we kind of expected, it to keep going that way. And then Avengers 2, even in the box office, we see it's just behind the first Avengers, and I feel like the quality of movies is about the same, and since we've already been introduced to these characters once, we kind of expected a little bit better of a story, I think. So, yeah, I mean, but with Anthony and Joe Russo going forward being the directors for Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, I'm really excited to see where they take this next step in the story that is the MCU, because they did such a good job on the Winter Soldier. And I'm really looking forward to what they do with all the characters, because there's so many characters in Civil War and so many characters that we know are going to be in Infinity War. Plus, they're getting Spider-Man back into the MCU. Right. So the MCU is in really good hands. I feel like it's going to get better and better as we go. But overall, I really liked this movie, and I think Jason and Greg, you guys both liked this movie as well. Yes. It's very entertaining.
It was probably the funniest of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, it was really funny.
And, like, so many one-liners. Like, I know, like, I caught so many more jokes watching it the second time because I missed them. I was laughing so hard the first time.
Yeah, there were so many, like, I think my favorite one probably was where Tony Stark, he gets into Strucker's castle, and he's just like, please be a secret door, please be a secret door. Yay! Like,
I mean, I like the Hulkbuster and Hulk fight.
Oh, yeah.
Goes like, sorry.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Yeah, and then, like, the Hulk spits out two things. She's like, sorry. All right, guys. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this discussion on Avengers Age of Ultron. If you guys saw anything in the movie that we did not discuss today, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what we missed, and we'll have a discussion down in the comments. I love talking to you guys in the comment section, so keep it up. Also, if you like this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. If you have any questions for us, you can go ahead and contact us on Twitter at Movieverse with the number 2 at the end. Also, you can contact our email address at MovieverseOnline@gmail.com. If you guys like what you see here on Movieverse, subscribe to our channel, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.